Welcome to the Knackly QA today, and today we're going to be covering, as part of a training session, how to use tables in Knackly. A lot of times, and specifically how to do lists of people within a table. So a lot of times you'll get a child's list, and you can see in the document that I've done before, we've got our children and their name and addresses, and we have it formatted kind of in vertical fashion, but sometimes you want to be able to have, you want to have it as part of a table. So how would you go about doing this? The first thing that you want to do when you create a table is I like to go to table properties and I go to options. And I want to make sure that it's not automatically resizing fit to contents, because this will mess it up as we go through this process here. And if I didn't have it, because the next step is I'm going to go to layout and I'm going to split this table. If I split this table and then child's name, if I didn't have the automatic and child names were short and the address was long, then it wouldn't, it's going to actually, when I say snap back together, it would snap back together and look odd. So that's why we go through and do the table resize. Make sure that it's not automatic. Our next step is that I want to insert a children list. So I'm just going to do insert list without punctuation. And X there. So now I'm going to put this list around a field, around a table. A row in the table. Next, in children, I can just go through and I need to select templates. Children, do full name. I can do inline address, which we've covered these before, but they're basically text templates. And then phone. I'm just going to do home phone. And then I've created an age. If I click on formulas, and go to children, and I can do age right there. And what will happen, and I click save. Now when I go online, I do a list of children. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll just reuse the same one, same example. And I don't have any children in here, so I'll go ahead and add John Smith. I will go ahead and I'll just put a recent birth date. 4, 5, Maine, Idaho Falls, Idaho 888. Okay. And then I'll add another child. Mary Smith, put her date of birth in 2019. That looks good. And certainly I'd want to have the same. And in other videos we'll go through, in future QAs, we'll go through and how to create so you can use the same address. Maine, Idaho Falls. Now I'll click OK. I click complete. And I go to the intake sheet and open it. And you'll see John Smith, and the address, phone number. I didn't put a phone number, age 0. And so you'll see how it snapped together, what I call snapped together. But with Knackly, we know that if we put a list on its own line, and list on its own line, it's just going to, when it pulls in, it's not going to show that. It will remove it and it will come together. And so that's kind of how you would do children. And certainly if I had home phone there, And I needed a home phone and a home phone. Okay. Then I would create it. So that's how you're going to do a list within a table. Now, another piece that people have asked for is, okay, that's great. I now have a retainer agreement, and this is partially talking about how you would do a list within it and give a total if you wanted it to look like this. But I want to total a number of different, basically a number of different fees. So my first step is I'm going to, once again, click on my table, go to table to layout, split table. Again, table layout and split the table. Here, I have created a retainer. So it's a list of retainers. And so I'm going to put this list in without punctuation. And the end list. And then within my retainer, I can put the name and the cost. And so what will happen now is all the retainers are going to be listed. So I'll click save, and let's just show you what this is going to look like. And we'll go back to Knackly, and we'll go back to original, and you see I've got retainer, married, single. I can say what it is, and I can get my list there. Click complete, and I'll go to my intake sheet. And I've got 1,500 and 1,000. Now I want to go through and total this. So in order to do a total, we need to create a formula. And so and formulas need to be done in our online designer. I'm just going to go into formulas. I've actually already created a formula called total retainer, but I want to go through and walk through what we're doing here. So in this, we've got retainer, which is our list. If you come back to our document, we've got list of retainers, so we can select multiple retainers, and then we're using pipe reduce, and reduce means that basically everything that we select in that list is what we're going to use in this retainer. So the next step is to do result. I mean, this is pretty much like using sum in Excel, and so result, which is basically it's going to keep adding it over and over again, and plus cost. And if I go back to my retainer and I have a name and a cost. Now in this case, because our templates don't allow numbers in them, we have to convert that cost into an integer. And so we're basically saying cost dot to int. Basically we're converted it to an integer, a number. Otherwise, if it's not there, we're gonna if we don't have anything that's selected, we're gonna put 0 there. So that's what this describes, and we'll put this formula down below the QA notes so you have access to it. You could also use the same type of scenario if you had a list of objects that had so if we had a list of assets and each asset was an object, we could also do the same, something similar for that as well. And now I'll just go back to my template, and I just scroll down and say total retainer and put that number in, click save. And I rerun it, because every time I do an update, I just need to rerun it to refresh the documents. And intake. And now I got my totals based on what I selected. So I got everything in there. And that's how you do it. And you could do the same thing. You don't have to do it in a table, but in this case, we'll show you how to do a table, basically to sum a total of a list of items. And that's kind of the end of the QA part of this, our training part. And now we'll open it up if there are any questions. And if those questions are relevant, we'll put them into the video. Otherwise, this will be the end of the video. And we thank you for joining us.